also has a new CD right here. It must have been Something I Said from his radio show, Le Show. Please welcome Harry Shearer. Okay.
I was just telling Miss Barrymore, she has a Welsh husband, I have a Welsh wife.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's very rare.
Where's your wife from?
She's from Llanelli. Llanelli means the very best. Chocolate. Yeah, that's the only way you can pronounce it.
Now, you did not have this on when I went to see you a moment ago in the
You didn't
dressing
have
room.
that on.
No, no, I know. It's just kind of a...
We both surprised each other.
Kind of a Superfly thing happening, you might say. Yeah, they're very sharp, very sharp.
My mom is having trouble with her color TV, and I said I'd give her some way to help adjust it when she watches this later.
Well, you know,
things kids do for their mothers, you know?
Well, you know, you're one of these guys, and now I don't know, this doesn't sound insulting, probably is not as well known to the general public as you are to people in show business, because you have a great many admirers. I mean, all the comedians love what you do, but what do you call yourself, an actor, a comedian? Because I know you do a lot of writing, you do the column in the LA Times, and I like the comedy, obviously. But what do you like to be billed at? Because it was confusing when you got here. I didn't know what to say.
Guy in the purple suit, I think.
Guy in the purple suit will be
would be the label. No, I try not to, humorist, I guess.
Yeah, humorist always sounds
dry and like a guy from Indiana. Well, sure. Thing came down to the story the other day.
Yeah,
so
right.
you can't do that. Satirist sounds scary. It sounds like you're going to be talking about Whitewater.
Yeah.
So I guess just...
And clown is bad.
Clown is bad.
Yeah, you don't want clown.
That's going to scare the kids. You know, you don't want that.
An impressionist is always, it might go something.
Might like this.
Yeah, and you do that.
What are they doing back there?
Yeah, that's always the great
They come
card,
back and they, you know, they look the same, but they've been doing this back there.
Now, how many voices do you do on The Simpsons? I know you do the boss.
Yes, I do about a dozen voices. I do Mr. Burns and Smithers, and I do Otto, the school bus driver, and the school principal, Skinner, and Ned Flanders, the next-door neighbor. And my three favorites, just because they look so good on a resume, are Hitler, the Devil, and God.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you going to call for Hitler, the Devil, and God?
Right, no, there you are.
We got a letter. I got a letter. This is the kind of mail the Simpsons gets.
Yeah.
It looks like it's from a kid, you know.
Yeah.
But, of course... It's typed very well. It's really from grown-ups. They just put it like this so you'll open it. Ah, it's from kids. I should read it. I've been having this argument with everybody where I work. The other day, I overheard a lady say, I like that gay character that's always hanging around Mr. Burns. I said, Smithers, he isn't gay, and the debate was on. At this point in the letter, you probably think we're all nuts, because this is just an animated character. But I have no problem if Smithers is gay. I just think he isn't, and the joke is going over their heads. Please straighten me out. The entire staff is against me on this.
No, so what is the...
I asked the people at The Simpsons. They said we couldn't possibly be doing anything outrageous with our characters. We're on Fox.
Oh,
so
right,
that's the
right.
answer.
Yeah, so that's the limiting factor.
Yeah.
That's the limiting factor.
There's a built-in wall there.
Now, I know you had a lot of guests. I know Johnny Carson did some.
Yes, sir.
Right?
He did.
And Michael Jackson.
Yes, he did.
Now, what was that like? He's an unusual man.
Unusual man. A special man. And it was a very special episode as a result. We went to, normally we have read-throughs of our script at the 20th Century Fox lot. We went to his manager's house.
Oh, he had to go to his manager's house?
Had to go to his manager's house in the evening. Had to, you know, miss Laker games to go up there.
Right.
And, of course, this season it wouldn't be that big a sacrifice, but this was a couple years ago. We go up to his manager's house. Precisely 7:30, Michael is ushered in. We're all supposed to be there at 7:30. He sits down, looks at his script. But one of our guys, Dan Castellaneta, who plays Homer and half a dozen other characters, was late. So after about 2 or 3 minutes, people start chatting, you know, the way they do, just small talk.
Small talk.
He just sits there, Michael, for 25 minutes, not staring at his script, not saying a word. It was almost as if parts of his face couldn't move, you know?
Did you try to? Did you say, hey, quite a game the other night at the...
I didn't personally, no. I thought it was not my place. Then the next day, we go in to actually record the show. And he's sitting at the table with us, and it seems very normal. And the part he's playing in the show is of a 300-pound white metal patient who thinks he's Michael Jackson.
Oh, right. I remember that show.
Yeah.
Very funny show.
Funny show. So he reads his lines, and then there comes a point where the character is supposed to start singing special lyrics to Ben, Michael Jackson's old son. And at that moment, he stops, he sits very quietly, folds his hands, and a white guy sitting across from him starts singing, Ben! And everybody's going, what the heck is this? And it was like, the story we got later was, they weren't paying Michael Jackson enough to sing, they were just paying him enough to talk.
Oh, I see. So they brought in
So they had to
another
bring
guy.
in a guy that he personally nominated to sing like him.
That makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Everybody would run their business like that, wouldn't they?
Can you do a little Mr. Burns? Can you give us a...
Well, I could possibly, Jay, if you'd possibly get to work on time. This nuclear plant would be in business today.
Mr. Burns, can isn't it time for me to rub you with the mink chamois, sir? How could they think those guys are gay?
Very funny. I used to like the Rather.
Oh, Dan Rather.
The Dan Rather that you do. That's...
Well, I got so into him during the Winter Olympics, you know. Dan Rather? Well, he's get his hair dyed, fuss with it a little bit, get it dyed a new color kind of a reporter. Where it's Dan Rather's favorite place to be, I guess, at the holding end of a fishing pole. But don't tell Connie, she might want to eat him raw. That's supposed to make you want to watch the news with this guy, you know?
Now, is Spinal Tap brought you the most fame
Yes.
of all the
Yes.
of all the characters?
Yes. Most people stop me, say something about metal detectors or cucumbers or something like that.
Now, are you guys going to do anything again as Spinal Tap?
There is very loose talk of us doing some dates this summer, but it means literally scraping a drummer up.
Oh, that's right. The drummer always
The drummers
dies
always explode.
mysteriously.
In the meantime, we're doing a different kind of band. The three of us, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and I, have formed a folk group, which is, hopefully we'll do for folk music what Spinal Tap did for rock and roll, which is to put it out of business, as you've noticed.
Right.
And we do some very, very bad original folk songs.
Right.
I'll give you a little example. This is the one I sing lead on.
The young man goes a-courtin' with just one thing in mind. It's a hey, nanny-no, nanny-ninny-o, a true love for to find.
The story goes on for 40 minutes, and there's 100 hey, nanny-no, nanny-ninny-os in there. And we look completely different. I'm bald and have that awful whaler's beard that never gets above your chin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're guys who, like, reunited after 25 years. You know, we were big back in the early 60s and then spent 2 decades teaching yoga and being printer's assistants and now getting back into folk music.
Because, you know, I opened for the Kingston Trio once, and it was disappointing a little bit, because when I was a kid, they were like, you know, my brother, you look up to your brother, and Michael, roll the boat, and now it's kind of, you know, it's just...
Yeah, we played a folk festival at UCLA, and all the real folkies were there, and then we're pretending to be folkies, and the only way, we were wearing the identical short-sleeve striped shirts and walking around with the bad facial hair and everything, and the only way you could tell us apart from the Kingston Trio was that the guys who were hanging around backstage waiting to go on smoking cigarettes were the real folkies.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Okay, let's do MTA.
And these were, you know, it's like Twinkies, you know.
Now, tell me about J. Edgar, the musical. This is based on J. Edgar Hoover?
Loosely based. It's a musical fantasia based on J. Edgar Hoover. And really, if you're going to do a show about J. Edgar Hoover, it has to be a musical.
Right.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer, John Goodman are the stars.
Right.
I wrote it with Tom Leopold, my partner, and Peter Mass wrote the music. It's an original musical. Some of the songs. Well, all the well-known events of his life. You know, he catches John Dillinger. He chases after communists. He's a homosexual, but he persecutes homosexuals. All that wacky stuff goes on in the background. That's sort of the
fun
stuff.
aspect. Yeah.
But really, it's a love story. It's a love story about J. Edgar Hoover and his
Long-time male
companion,
yeah.
or as he calls it, lifetime assistant,
Right.
Clyde Tolson. And there's some, you know, he sings when Clyde leaves him, because there has to be a time when Clyde leaves him. It's the only drama in the show. He sings this very moving love song, Once Upon a Face. And when Clyde comes back and they're invited to a party at Roy Cohn's and dress up in ball gowns and this lovely Viennese waltz called I Enjoy Being a Man. So it's good fun.
It sounds very, very
But it's
moving.
not too outrageous because
not outrageous.
we're not on Fox.
No, of course. Well, this is a very funny CD. I've always admired your work. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you,
Harry
Jay.
Shearer, be right back right after this.